Hey, I'm Patty.
Hi, I'm Ronnie.
We're in As It Is, and these are our early years. The first ever band practice was a little informal. It was probably just in the living room of my flat with acoustic guitars. And every kind of practice that followed would be to audition Foley or audition our future bassist and all this kind of stuff. It happened very, very slowly and gradually. But yeah, no, it was probably just acoustics in my flat.
First practice for me was it was kind of unconventional because we did a lot of work over Skype and over videos together, me and Patty, prepping me to get ready. And then I had the first practice out in California, and I just remember Ben being pretty nervous because he was like, the band didn't know if I could play lead guitar very well. They just knew that they liked me enough to give it a go. And then it turns out I could, and Ben was just sitting there with his fingernails going like this, like, oh shit, he can actually play lead guitar. Okay, this is great. So yeah, it went over pretty well after they found out that I could, in fact, play the lead guitar.
The first As It Is show was in a living room of a house in 2012 near the skate park at the level of in Brighton. And it was just a crazy house show. We were terrible, of course. We had a bunch of our friends from Brighton playing. I remember it was just full. It was a living room, so you couldn't fit more than 30 people in, but just the whole night, everyone was crammed in. People were ripping light fixtures out of the ceiling, and people were watching from the kitchens, standing up on the cabinets and stuff. So it was pretty cool. It was a good time.
We passed that house the other day,
yeah,
actually, on my way in, and it was sick.
We have a lot of teenage musical heroes. A big one for me was The Starting Line, because The Best of Me was the first song I ever learned on guitar, and we got to share the stage with them at Slam Dunk in 2016, and that was really, really cool, but I was way too shy to talk to them, so that sucks for me.
A really big influence for me was The Used, and I remember meeting all the guys. In fact, they did a stint on Warped Tour with us last summer. Last Warped Tour and my first ever playing, and it was sick. Yeah, Bert was incredible.
I remember where I was when we found out we were getting a record deal. We knew that there were maybe a couple of labels interested, but I'd actually been up in London filming this old YouTube video with Brendon Urie, meeting him for the very first time, and I remember on the train home getting a call from our manager wanting the Skype call because we got our first contract through from Fearless, and it was just the most surreal day of my life, possibly still to this day. It was wild. There were other band names. I'm trying to... Ben knows more of them than I do. I remember one was really bad. It was called Aerocast because it was narrowcast, which is the opposite of a broadcast, without the N. So it was this really shitty play on words. Probably no one's ever taken that band name, so it's free if you'd ever like it.
It's yours. Have it.
And I remember another one was called Boars, like the animal, wild boars, but it just sounds like we're the most boring fucking band in the world. So we were that's probably not a good call. As It Is, arguably not much better, but here we are, so fuck it.
Let's go.